3 life transitions that are causing you grief and impacting your sex life, and you may not even know it. My name is Betsy Perez, and I help women who have experienced childhood sexual abuse reduce sexual resentment, increase sexual presence, and have fulfilling sex lives. So, life transitions are always impacting our sex lives. The thing is that sexual presence and building that skill actually starts outside of the bedroom, and the capacity and the skills that we actually have to live our daily lives in a present way. And these 3 transitions I have noticed for myself and for other women that impact their sex lives in ways that they're not even aware of because they're wrapped up in some form of grief. Now, the first one that I want to talk about is, oddly enough, getting a new job. Whether it's that you are being promoted to a new role in the same company, or you are starting over completely in a totally different place. One, you are already grieving the job that you used to have. And not just the fact that you may not even have liked that job, you may not have even liked the role, but just internally, we sometimes are grieving the routine, the death of that, the new way that we're gonna have to start living our lives, because chances are you have more responsibility. Hopefully you have more responsibility. You're making more money, and that in and of itself, it is a stretch for our personality and for our person, and we're gonna have to then contend with who do we have to become and who within us has to die in order for us to really rise to the occasion and live up to being this person who we've always wanted to be. Now, sometimes that comes up against who we are in the bedroom intimately. And when we are then going into a new arena of our work life, where before we had a lot of control, we understood what we had to do, we have had a sense of authority and agency over ourselves, that can become a little bit shaky when we are now transitioning into a new role where we may not be as sure of ourselves, which doesn't help us in the bedroom when we are already experiencing difficulties with who we are sexually, our sexual identity in the bedroom with our partner. So one of the things that I encourage for you to do is, if you are finding yourself that you are transitioning into a new job, you are now embarking on a new routine, you may not even be sure for maybe another couple of weeks what your actual routine is going to look like. I suggest doing this practice that I encourage is taking off the day. When you get home, let your partner know that you may need an hour, that it may fluctuate for the time being as you are really trying to understand the ins and outs of the new workplace, maybe even commuting. That in and of itself is a brand new routine if you are transitioning to a completely new place. We're talking about new systems. Maybe you're trying to figure out a new system that you have to now work under. Let your partner know, I need at least an hour after I get home from work, whatever that time may be, so that I can get myself a little bit together. And if you have children, of course, this can be a little bit difficult, but then you can just calibrate it to whatever makes sense for your time, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes. But please give yourself a moment so that you have some form of respite for yourself, to gather yourself, to take off the day so that you can de-stress, decompress, and you can be more present in those intimate moments when you are already having difficulties, and then you throw in a new a transition of a new job and whatever that means for you and your family, your household, for your partnership, your relationship. You're going to want to secure a time that is for you on purpose. It doesn't have to be every time the same time, but at the very least, you understand that once I get home from work, whatever that may be, I am going to have my 5 or my 10 minutes. The next transition that sneaks up on women who have experienced sexual violation early in their developmental years is your child or a child that you are close to. So it may not even be your child. It can that you are taking care of, that you are parenting. It may be a godchild. It might be a niece or a nephew, or a child that has been an important person in your life that you are watching grow up and develop, and you are a part of their life in a significant way, is turning the age that your violation began, or the violations that you remember. That can, in and of itself, be a almost like a small bomb that goes off in us, because then we start to associate their age with ourselves, and we get to actually see ourselves outside of ourselves, and we sometimes see how small we were or how big we were, or just seeing ourselves in a different tender age, and then we begin to grieve the experience that child had and that we didn't have. And that can easily translate into numbness, into low libido or low sense of desire. It can turn into our communication diminishing, where maybe you were very communicative, and then you realize that this child is turning one of the ages in which you remember your violation, and then that noise or that story is running in the background without you even realizing, because oftentimes, right, we're seeing this, we may not notice, we may sense something is different inside of us, but we are not aware of it. We're not sitting down with ourselves and really interrogating that sensation or that shift, that slight shift that we're noticing in our bodies, that we may be noticing in our intimate communication. So that for us is something that can be happening without us realizing. So it's a life transition that we don't exactly notice. But if you happen to see this video and you're realizing like, I've been having a little bit more difficulty with sex and my intimate moments with my partner, or even with yourself, with the intimate moments that you may be having with your own self-pleasure, so-and-so, or my child just turned this age and whatnot, what my encouragement and my tip for you is that begin to expand your idea of sex, meaning that beyond an act, but an experience. And write a list, you can describe it, or write a list of all the things that you want to feel during sex. Whether it's you want to feel safe, you want to feel a tingly feeling in your heart, you want to feel a tingly feeling in your pelvis. I want to feel emotive. I want to feel like I could be loud, and anything that you want to feel during the act of sex. Cool. You have your list, you have your description. Now, what I encourage you to do is make a list of all of the things outside of sex. It can be, you can make a list for partnered, or it can be a list for solo. A list of other activities that do not involve sex as you know it. And a lot of the times it's usually penetrative sex. So anything outside of penetrative sex or your understanding of sex that also gives you that same feeling. Because then in these moments when we're really tender and we still want to experience the feelings, the physical experience of sex, but not necessarily engage in the direct act of sex as we know it and however we categorize it, oftentimes it's sex to us is penetrative, which is another video. If you'd like to have like another video on all the different other ways that we can have sex and see sex in a holistic way, especially during our seasons of healing, you can let me know in the comments or you can DM me. But just making a list of all of the ways, of all of the other activities that give you that same euphoria, that same orgasmic bliss that sex gives you, or that physical sensation that sex gives you. You may be surprised when you sit down and you meditate and you think about it. That in and of itself is a sensual experience, an erotic experience in and of its own. So let me know how it goes. And then finally, another life transition, and there are many transitions that do take place, but I wanted to talk about these three, especially the job one and the child one, because sometimes it can fall under the radar. And also this one, this last third one, is you move to a new place, a new city, a new town, a new state, a new country. That destabilization that can feel around moving can just be a domino effect of not feeling grounded and not feeling oriented in ourselves, and just can be very destabilizing. So when the environment that we are in, that is so important for our daily presence, so important for our nervous system, in particularly for our somatic conditioning our bodies. So when we do such a move like that, where we are not familiar with the neighborhood, we're not familiar with the home, the body is processing all of these unfamiliar spaces, and we have to then be able to have the skill to support ourselves as the body is processing all of this new information, and it doesn't feel as stabilized. It doesn't feel as safe because this is an unfamiliar territory. So you and your body have to now create a new baseline for safety. So my encouragement to you, if you are moving, if you are in a new place and your body is just feeling a little bit of stress because it's unfamiliar. So it's trying to find things that it can hold on to that are familiar to you, which can be very difficult when you are trying to be intimate with your partner and experiencing and you are already experiencing sexual difficulty with communication and already not feeling like you are associated to your body or you feel grounded in your body. So then you are destabilized double time, because if you are already having experiences and don't have too much of the awareness of the skills that you can develop, because I want to say that we all have baseline skills for keeping ourselves safe. Granted, they may not be the most efficient for us today in adulthood, but it doesn't mean you have them. But this is why making a decision that these ways that I'm coping with my daily life or that I'm dealing with my daily life are not supporting me. So I need to develop new skills. So I don't want you to think that you don't have the skills. You do have the skills, but maybe you need some new ones. So all of that to say that your body could be destabilized double time because you are already having difficulties in your daily life in stabilizing, which are then impacting your sex life. And then now you are in another home, in another body that is unfamiliar. And so then now you have to work double time, and that's more stress for the body. And then more stress, less pleasure. And then that can then really exacerbate any sexual difficulties that you may be having with your partner, having a new move. And, they say that moving is like a funeral in many ways, because now you're also grieving your old home. You may be grieving missing your friends. You may be grieving, that old little library or that coffee shop or that spot that you used to like, that was your spot. And now you have to find new ones. So my encouragement to you is to begin to create a safe place in your home that and you can signal to your body, when we go here, it's safe. When we go here, we feel chill, we feel good. And begin to really decorate that spot, decorate that place. Even if there's nothing else, if it's still bare bones, if you're still discovering your new city, your new town, find find those places and let your body indicate to you, like, I feel good here. I feel safe here. I can talk here. I can do this here. And in this safe place, and let it be a place that you can invite your partner for conversation. That, okay, I know that I feel solid. I know that I feel good in this little nook in our home. And I can invite my partner in moments to deepen our intimacy, and so that I can have more deeper conversation with him, or whatever it is that you want to talk about, whether it's intimacy or just whether it's daily life. Because now you're grounded here, and then little by little, you are able to then create more grounded, safe places wherever it is. And the same thing goes for your town. If there is a park, if there is a place that's near you, if you can walk wherever you are, you can drive through. Let your body signal to you places that it feels called to go to, that it's like, oh, this place of this, my body is letting me know, like, I should stop here at this park, and find your place. Let your body dictate where it wants to be, and be in conversation with it in that way. And in general, if you are just in any life transition, it may not be these, but having a daily presence practice. If you can create a daily presence practice anywhere from 3 to 5, even 10 minutes, where you can begin to increase the conditioning of your body, meaning that you are developing your ability to be with your body, be aware of the sensations that your body is processing, and being able to articulate them for yourself in order to build that connection, to build that system, and to build that voice, so that you can go into the world more whole and more capable to affirm and to execute your boundaries. That is going to be always my number one suggestion when you are building sexual presence. Your sexual presence in your bedroom, so that you can lower that resentment and increase that presence, is going to really heavily depend on your daily presence practice in the world, outside of the bedroom, so that you can build more momentum, more capacity, so that you can condition your body to, and with more practice of how you need it to respond in an efficient way, in a confident way in the bedroom, so that you're able to speak what it is that you need, your wants and desire, and you can have more intimacy with your partner. So if this helped you, please let me know in the comments. Send me a DM. If you are a woman who has experienced childhood sexual abuse, and you may be in any of these life transitions, or you just want to reduce resentment, increase sexual pleasure, and have a more fulfilling sex life because you deserve it, then my link is in the bio. And I hope that you have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Mwah.